Alright, let's do this one last time. Hey everyone, Matt here, and welcome back to Hiveswap Friendsim. We are doing a rerun of this game and Pest Request because of Friendsim 2, the unofficial sequel to both Hiveswap Friendsim and Pest Request, whose Volume 14 is releasing tomorrow on 4/13. Yay! In the previous videos, we have completed Volume 1 and 2. Now we will get started and finish Volume 3 of Ladies Grey and Lucy White. Yeah, that's it. Volume 3, let's go, baby! Putting one foot in front of the other, you continue on this strange alien world. Just when you think stuff is beginning to make sense, it all slips through your fingers and becomes even stranger and more alien. There does, however, seem to be one thing that remains constant through all planets and walks of life. That thing is friendship. You are on the prowl for more. It would have perhaps been wise to stay with one of your wonderful new friends until you are fully healed. But as Martha Stewart said, visitors, like fish, begin to smell after 3 days. You are almost positive Martha Stewart said that. Nevertheless, you soldier on in your endless quest for companionship. Where will your travels take you next? Skylla, Koriga, or Bronya, or Sama? Let's go Skylla. Hell yeah. As dawn approaches, you find yourself heading out of the big city and into the rustic outskirts. That sun is very bright for my dim room. Man, the sun sure is bright on this planet. It's rising over the crest of the distant hills. A huge fiery ball. The later it gets, the bigger and bigger it grows. Way bigger than you've ever seen the sun on Earth. What's that smell? Could it be your flesh beginning to sizzle? Fantastic! You love the country! No wonder the nightlife seems so active on Alternia. They are all nocturnal to avoid brutal daily roasting. You reach into your pocket for cool new shades, but you appear to have left them at your friend's house. Fuck! You gotta get yourself together. The recent physical trauma and extensive blood loss has you a little fuzzy. You weren't built for this wilderness survival shit. You're starting to wish you'd just stolen some Lamborghini or something. Wish you'd just stolen a fucking Lamborghini or something instead of a spaceship. This seriously isn't looking good. The city is too far away now for you to turn back, so you have no choice but to keep walking. Maybe you can find a cave or a hole in the ground. Maybe you can just cover yourself with grass. You wish that someone had mentioned the Death Sun in between offering you alien meat products and calling you their muse. Off to your left in the distance, you catch sight of what might be the shimmer of sunlight on glass. A window? A solar panel? You could seriously clean up with the renewable energy on this planet. Should you change your trajectory and go towards the shimmer? It could just be a mirage. Shimmer! You turn your aching, stinging meat sack toward the distance, promising sparkle of safety and succor. You focus on just staying upright, one step at a time. You just keep swimming, or whatever. God, the sun, though. You need SPF 5 million for this nonsense. But then, almost like it had picked itself up to come scuttling to meet you, you suddenly find yourself in trouble. Long, low structure. Now, you let out a yelp of anguish, pounding on the door. At least you hope it's a door. What in the world? The door opens and you fall inside with one of the most pathetic whimpers of your career. Plus darkness closes in on you. From right beside you comes a snuffling yip, like some jokers making fun of your dire situation. Something warm and wet glides up your stinging cheek. Hold on, lady. Give him some room. A pair of hands helps you sit up gently. Your eyes haven't adjusted enough to make out more than a couple shapes, one upright and one lower to the ground. What were you doing out there? Can you stand? Strong arms pull you to your feet. You wonder if everyone on this planet is strong or if you are just extremely flimsy. They guide you to a chair at the end of a long table. Stutteringly, you begin to explain yourself, that you are an injured, exhausted traveler who's ravenous for pals. Well, bless your heart. But hold on, Tick. Dinner's about to burn. Now that your rescuer mentions it, you do smell something. It smells amazing. Funny you should just blunder in here like that. I was just saying, wasn't I, lady? It's been so long since we had any sort of guests who weren't Imperial drones or out to rob us. You rub at your watering, slowly clearing eyes, and when you look back at your rescuer, your rescuer finally comes into focus. She's tall, taller than anyone else you've met here, you think. Maybe also, well, also maybe a little older? Not that you're an expert in troll physiology. She just has an air of knowledgeable competence. She's wearing a fringed jacket and holding up a plate. There you go. Your oculars feeling any better? By the by, my name's Skylla. Pleasure to meet you. And this here's the lady. She looks down, and at first you think she means the table, but then you look under the table at the giant monster dog looking up at you. You jolt so hard you almost fly backward out of your goddamn chair. Whoa there! No need for theatrics. It looks a little like one of those lassie dogs with the pointed nose, except enormous and pure white. Its barks practically shake the whole house. Hey there, lady. No need to be rude. They've clearly had one hell of a time and they don't look dangerous. They're just really peculiar. Besides, if they try anything, you and me can take them. Skylla puts her hands on her hips, staring you down with thunderous yellow eyes. Right? No funny business, you hear? Swallow and nod, trying to look unthreatening and obliging. Ready for anything. For instance, friendship. You are so ready for that. Skylla sets down the plate she's holding. Here, have a grub cake. There's plenty. That sounds gross as hell, but what's sitting on the plate looks and smells exactly like a normal pancake, golden brown and crispy at the edges. There's boiled tree blood, too, if you like. Also churned dairy product. She puts down a carafe of syrup and a dish of butter. Man, everything here has really weird names. Skylla pours out a cup of some very familiar smelling liquid. Brown bean juice, you guess. Skylla raises an eyebrow. No. That's just coffee. She sits down next to you. You're lucky you were only out in the light at dawn. Nobody wants to be out in direct alternating sunlight besides jade bloods. And no offense, but you certainly ain't any jade blood that I've ever seen. Now, at first I thought you were some sort of mutated Lucis because you don't have horns and you were grunting and yipping up a storm back there. But you're an alien, right? Don't worry, I won't call it drones. I'd best get used to being around aliens anyway. Seeing as how I'm gonna be seeing a whole mess of y'all come next sweep, she laughs nervously. You aren't sure what she's talking about. Do you even need to specify that anymore? It's just natural law at this point. Gravity, the conservation of energy, and you don't know what the fuck is going on! Lady, would you mind drawing a bath for our guest? No offense, but you smell like you could use one. Can't argue with that. You offer a cautious smile. God, you seem so nice and caring, but you've been burned before, and cut, and generally kicked around by fate. It's a tough world out there, but you wouldn't trust Skylla. Lady takes a bucket in her muzzle and runs out into the yard, getting up on her hind legs and batting at the door latch to get open. It's adorable. The sun is high enough that now that the whole landscape outside is washed in white. Oh God, the dog! Oh, it's sweet of you to worry. Those are fine going outside for a little while in the daylight. Their coats reflect the light, or something to that effect. I don't really know how it works. I ain't exactly known for any scientific acumen. You tell her that she seems pretty smart from where you're standing. As cynical as you are becoming, you just can't help trying to be your friend. She's so nice and, wow, really pretty. Now that that's a requirement. Not that that's a requirement for friendship, but your retinas would have to be way more scalded than they are not to notice that. That's nice of you to say, but it wouldn't even really matter if I was bona fide genius. Someone in my caste could never hope to rise up in the ranks. But best I can hope for is hauling crates or on some cargo vessel. Ranks? Cargo vessel? You swallow your bite of grub cake. Ready to ask her if she is thinking about joining the military. Which is then a swell of noise erupts from outside the house. Shouts, crashes, and the lady's frantic barks. Skylla gasps and launches herself out of her chair, knocking over the carafe of syrup. It oozes across the tabletop in a sticky wave. Oh no! Not now! What the hell's going on? Bandits! Goddamn Lucis thieves! You don't get the chance to ask anything else before Skylla careens toward the door, throwing up an arm as blazing white light pours in. Oh God, she's going to go outside and burn up. She isn't thinking straight. You've got to do something. Help her. What the hell? You've already experienced the Alternian Sun. It sucked a whole lot. Maybe now will suck less. Because of how bad it sucked then. Just a sliding scale of suckage. Skylla plunges out into daylight in the direction of the commotion. And like a big dumb asshole, you barrel out into the blazing hellscape after her. Surprise! It still sucks! You've had sunburns before, but this is ridiculous. This is a fucking monster of a gas giant pointing and laughing at the tiny speck of humanity you represent, trembling before the void! It's a pure assault on all your senses. The light is almost as bad as the heat, and you put up your arms to block the glare, following the gust Skylla kicks up behind her. You doubt your eyes will actually ever adjust to this fuckery, but you can see a little better than before. There are about a dozen of them, all of them trolls, all wearing dark pad outfits that cover their faces. They look halfway between hazmat suits and SWAT uniforms. All of them have big, fake-looking guns that probably aren't fake. In fact, one of them shoots a laser at your face. You duck, and it leaves a blazing heat trail across your cheek. But as all of you currently burning, it doesn't really break your stride. Skylla throws herself into the fray, letting out a war cry accompanied by the sound of fisting flesh. It's 12 against 2, which, if you remember your fractions right, is not unlike 6 against 1. These guys had probably not been expecting a frontal assault, and they had definitely not been expecting a Skylla, who was frankly fucking terrifying. She shoves 3 trolls down like dominoes, grabbing up a discard gun and shooting all 3 while they're on the ground. You've never been in a fight before. A fucking all-out brawl. It's kind of scary. But now that you are in the thick of it, also kind of awesome? Sure, your skin is burning and you could be killed at any moment, but that's just how it goes on this planet. You just gotta get into the swing of things. Take no prisoners. Kill or be killed. Hell yeah! You pop one of the bandit trolls in the face. Fuck! That probably hurt your fist more than it hurt the troll, but it does throw them off balance for long enough for Skylla to smash the butt of her gun into the side of their head. Yyeehaw! Hell yeah! She gives you a wild grin. The two of you are beaming at each other while a hostile alien sun tries to boil away the liquid from your eyeballs and a bunch of bandits try to dognap a giant monster. You love this girl. In a friendship way. But still, you love her. You make an awesome team. Now the troll comes up behind Skylla, and she smashes an elbow into their throat, grabbing them by the front of their uniforms, suplexing them onto the dusty ground. She wails on them with her bare hands. God! She's really hot. Get lady! Oh, right. Stumble over to where the Lucis is thrashing inside a big black net. You don't have any way to get her free, but she's already doing great on her own, biting through the fibers with her big sharp teeth. You hold the net still for her to finish the job, then pull it off her so she can join the fray. It's over fast after that. How did they even get Lady into the net in the first place? She's so giant and quick, grabbing trolls in her jaws and shing them like chew toys. The remaining 5 who are still standing jump into their weird little dune buggies and make tracks. Emphasis on the bug. They look like scuttling little beetles. Skylla chases after them for a few hundred yards, throwing the gun after them and shouting obscenities. And stay away, you hear? Tell the rest of them why you don't ever fuck with a Rusty's ranch. She stands silhouetted against the blazing sun, the dust trails vanishing into the distance. You are awash in hazy victory, giggling like a lunatic, before the adrenaline kind of drains out of you all at once. You are finally reminded of your fucked up ribs and recent blood loss. The Alternian sun beats down, and your arms are already covered in raised patches of red skin. This is sunburn turned up to 11. Whoa there, are you okay? Skylla is sweating too. There's a spray of olive green blood covers her cheek. At least the rainbow blood on this planet means you can be sure it isn't hers, but she still looks rough. Kind of how you feel. Lady, come here, girl. Wow, you're gonna sit down. Maybe just take a little break. The pale landscape swips, going even paler. No, you can't rest here. You'll die, dumbass. I'm not letting anything happen to my new best friend. Get up. New best friend? Holy shit, that makes you so happy. You absolutely can't die yet. Not when you just made such an amazing friend. Somehow the two of you managed to drag each other across the yard and toward the house. Hive, you're gonna get this lingo down if it kills you. Whenever you feel yourself about to fall forward, you lean on Skylla. When you start to fall back, the lady is there to brace herself against the back of your knees. She's such a good Lucis. You wonder if she'll be your friend too. Her muzzle is dripping with the soup of multicolored alien blood. When you get back into the darkness of the hive, you can't see shit. Dang, your species really ain't suited for this kind of environment, huh? You can't even see in the dark. In demonstration, you walk right to the table. You've about had it with tables. You are sworn enemies at this point. Please don't knock down my nutrition platform. I built it myself. She sounds exhausted but giddy. Dang, you really did that thing, didn't you? You kind of want to go in for the hug, but that sunburn is really something. It feels like tiny needles piercing your arms and cheeks. The back of your neck is a colony of fire ants. Oh, yeah. Feels real bad, don't it? Come here. There's only one cure for sun rash. Skylla takes your hand. Gosh, this is next level friendship stuff. She leads you through her hive, and who knows if you are ever going to get all of your vision back. Maybe you are just blind for life. You'll have to get a cane and a whimsical aesthetic, and learn to navigate the world by smell alone. No, that would be stupid. There we go. My coop isn't huge, but you're kind of scrawny. What are you waiting for? Take your clothes off. Man, the sun must have fucked with more than just your eyes, because you could have sworn Skylla just told you to take the clothes off. You are seriously not getting into my recovery room in those filthy rags. I'm not even sure what those clothes were supposed to be originally. Yeah, you aren't so sure about your look either. Another new friend of yours told you it was rad, but you were both a little high at the time. You might be a little high right now. You wonder if sunstroke also causes auditory hallucinations. Also, you don't know what a Recapacun is. Really? And what the heck do you sleep in on your planet? You're rustling, followed by the sound of clothes hitting the floor, and a weird gloop gloop, like someone getting into a bathtub, only thicker. If a troll doesn't have soap, or if a troll didn't have soap, well, I don't really know what would happen. But I reckon it wouldn't be great. And speed their healing process for burns and small wounds. I'm not sure what it'll do to your weird alien anatomy, but I don't see how it's gonna make it any worse. Tell Skylla that, in your experience, things can always get worse, especially from her perspective right now, since she's about to see you naked. Nothing like a little self-deprecating humor as an A+ cover for crippling insecurity. Skylla laughs. Come on now. I'm sure you're a perfectly healthy example of your species. Just kidding already. Promise this isn't any sort of pale solicitation, or flush for that matter. I know it's awkward, but I only got the one coop. Right, okay, yeah, you can totally do this. You can make this not weird. Of course you trip taking off your goddamn pants and Skylla starts laughing all over again. Not in a mean way, more in a chill, please join me in my slime bathtub, old chum way. In a non-awkward way. In a friend way. Victory! Yeah! Sweet. Only 17 minutes in. Perfect time for the other one. Volume 3 for Bronya. Friendship. Bronya. You've been traveling through a cave network for a while now. Oh, that's the history. That wasn't even the history. That was the controls. The rigid stone is a welcome respite from the eerily organic infrastructure you've been encountering, but it is also proving an unwelcome respite from friend-making. But maybe it was too much to hope for, that this cavern would be home to another potentially new buddy. Maybe leaving the big city behind was a horrible mistake. Just maybe these dark, cold tunnels are completely devoid of... Oh, hang on, there's a bunch of buildings in the distance. Oh, hello! I thought you were one of my girls. But you don't look like a Jade Blood. Or anything else, actually. That's strange. You convey your usual spiel regarding your circumstances. You're lost and lonely and your ribs are still broken, you think? Honestly, ribs are fine. You could just use another friend or two. I see. Oh, shit. My first responsibility is to my Jades and the mother grub, so I can't make any promises of friendship just yet, but you do look like you need someone to take care of you. Here in the Brooding Caverns, we follow a few simple rules. 1. Don't invite drama from up top down below. 2. Protect the mother grub. 3. We have no hierarchy, but do what I say. Let's do everything we can to keep up our current record of dozens of sweeps without any Jades being cold. You're not sure what half those words mean, but you nod your head. Good. I'll take you to her hive. Follow me. You follow her into her hive, which looks like a school or some kind of dormitory, with multiple rooms and multiple floors. Usually, more of my Jades are around. I suppose that everyone is out watching the Imperial drones arrive with the Philian pails. Girls, we have a visitor to our caverns. 1. Do not be alarmed by their bizarre appearance. They seem to be harmless and quite weak. 2. Do not give them more injuries than they already have. Our visitor deserves a warm J-blood welcome. She claps her hands. No one else is around, but you stand to attention and give her a thumbs up, show that you read her loud and clear. You notice that she called you visitor and not friend, but that's okay. You can do whatever it takes until your upgrade from visitor to friend, or at least charity case. You follow her upstairs and she stops at a big room on the second floor. When you step into it, you have to clap your hand over your mouth to keep from gagging at the revolting sight. There are big, baby-sized larva-looking things all over the floor, squirming around and crying and inchworming out of kiddie pools of green slime. What the hell? This is our nursery. Most of these wigglers are sick or injured, so we look after them in here until they're well enough to get back out of the caverns and spin their cocoons. She looks shifty all of a sudden, giving you some side-eye like she's sizing you up. You try to look very non-threatening and also 100% trustworthy. We keep this nursery on the down low. It's not against any laws, but it's something of a break with tradition, saving the grubs and stuff, just letting them die. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure why we do it. I guess it just feels right to me to take care of them. The same way I take care of my jades. A nursery, huh? You look around again with this new information. You guess you can sort of see how the wrigglers look like babies. You can't believe that one of these things could grow up into anything that looks like Bronya, but this is an alien planet, so who knows? She takes you over to a shelf that seems to hold medical supplies. You're not sure what can be done for your broken ribs, but maybe she has some kind of alien technology that can help. But when she starts going through the cabinet, you don't see anything that looks high-tech like the thing that fixed your arm. I guess that most of what we have is stuff for the wrigglers, but I'm not familiar enough with your bizarre anatomy to know if it'll help. But if you're not completely sure how to do something, it's best to try anyway. 1. Even if you fail, everyone can still learn from your mistake. 2. Maybe you won't fail. You never know. You're not so sure about applying this ethos to your broken ribs, but she looks so determined. It might be rude to say no. Go for it. My ribs are already broken, so where's the harm? Okay, come here. Lift up your shirt so I can get to your injured bellow sack enclosures. Yes, like that. Turn the part that's all bloody and horrifying towards me. She has something that looks like some kind of ointment. It's a shade of bright green, similar to the slime beds you see around the nursery. It also seems to be glowing. Seems like there's nothing wrong about applying it to your skin. But despite your optimism, the second Bronya rubs some of it on your broken skin, you feel a searing, hot pain like you just got doused with poison. I feel like acid would burn a hot, searing pain more than poison on the skin. But who knows? I've never been poisoned. You flinch back instinctively. Your momentum carries you too far, and as soon as you step back, you trip on something behind your feet. You cartwheel your arms, but it's no use. You're going down. You're yelling timber. You feel something soft and squishy break your fall, and you hear a terrible squelching noise and some kind of animal squeal. You have fallen right onto one of the wrigglers. You roll off of it, but there's no use. It's squished flat, and you're covered in olive fluid that you think it might be its blood. You look up to see Bronya's horrified face, and know that there is no hope for friendship in those vengeful eyes. You might want to run before I throw you out this window and break the rest of your bones. Game over. Alternia's deadly as ass. Great! Great start. Volume 3. Yep. Bronya. And skip. Thanks, but no thanks. I'll heal on my phone just fine. Oh, well, if you're sure. I'm worried about you, though. You seem like you need help, and I wish I could help you more. If I can't take care of someone, I'm not sure how we can ever truly be friends. I tried to cheer up, pointing out that friendship is a two-way street after all. She doesn't have to concern herself with your mutilated frame. How can you help her instead? Well, I'm sure there are things around here that I could use some assistance with. However, don't take this the wrong way, but we've only just met. I don't know that I can trust you to be as responsible as I am. It's not easy to be the one in charge. You have to be one. Oh, these fucking words are gonna be the death of me. 1. Conscientious. 2. Considerate. And 3. Competent. At all times. You try to think of times in your life when you've been conscientious, considerate, or competent, you're drawing a bit of a blank. But hey, new planet, new you! You're sure that you have what it takes. I guess if you want to prove that you can be responsible, I can let you help me out today. It's a good time for a visit to the Mother Grub. You're careful to step around all the little guys on the floor as you head out of the nursery. She takes you back outside, and these caverns are even bigger than you first realized. They're also dark and cold and gloomy, and you can't see anywhere that might lead up to the planet's surface. Does she really just live down here all the time? To make some conversation during this cold hike in a damp cave, you mentioned that living underground like this seems kind of depressing. You realize too late that this wasn't very tactful, but she doesn't get angry at your conversational gambit of insulting her own. Oh no, it's very peaceful down here. Well, in comparison to anywhere else. I quite enjoy it. Ruin caverns are a place for life and birth, not death. That's pretty uncommon on Alternia. You're still not sure what she means by brooding caverns, but you guess it has something to do with the wigglers in her nursery. Before you can ask, you reach the top of a ridge and get a new, wider view of the rest of the cavern. It's enormous, probably the size of a small city. All over the cave floor, you see more wigglers crawling everywhere. Cocoons line the cave walls, and the larger stalactites, with some young trolls crawling out of them. Walking, flying, and crawling around the wigglers and young trolls are a variety of white monsters of all kinds of shapes and sizes. In the center of the cavern, there is... you don't even know how to describe it. It looks like a huge, many-legged queen bug of some kind with a goat-shaped skull and horns coming out of her head. Her bulbous sphincter ripples as she lays a continuous stream of hundreds of eggs, from which you assume the gray wigglers will hatch. And marching through all this, you see several hulking bipedal creatures, each carrying 2 buckets either to or away from the mother grub. They look armed, and they move like regimented troops, soldiers of some kind. You are instinctively terrified of them. This is where the magic happens, and by that I mean the continuation of our species. Jadebloods like myself are entrusted with looking after this process, which is of course a very special job. 1. The Imperial drones carry pails of genetic material to the mother grub for her slurry. 2. She lays eggs that hatch new grub broods. 3. After the wigglers emerge from their cocoons, the new trolls will go through the trials, and the ones that make it will be selected by Lucis to help care for them. 4. Together, the young trolls and their Luci go up to the surface together, where the trolls will grow up or to get cold, or whatever. As Bronya explains troll reproduction to you, one of the Imperial drones veers sharply to the left and in the process tramples over a few wigglers and young trolls. The drone continues on, but several of the Luci cry out, crowding around their dead or injured charges. One of them, a gigantic beast that resembles a bison, bellows and rears up on its hind legs, hitting one of the other Luci with its front hoof. Oh jeez, not again. This kind of damage control is a lot of what we have to deal with. Whenever a Luci goes rogue out of grief or confusion, there's the potential for it to lash out at other Luci, the wigglers, or the mother grub herself. We Jadebloods cannot let that happen! She looks so concerned, a marked contrast to how confident she's seen before now. You offered to help her out earlier, and it seems like now's your chance. You offered to help her out earlier, and it seems like now's your chance. Someone has to stop that rogue Lucis. That someone could be you? Fight the monster! Save the day! You got this. The bison Lucis seems to be causing quite a ruckus. Other Luci have now gotten riled up too, with some of them trying to gather wigglers to keep them out of harm's way, and others just getting hyped to thrash. It seems like it could turn into a monster stampede. And they're close to the mother grub's big soft, vulnerable abdomen. Not great! Fighting a monster single-handed seems like a daunting first step in a friendship, but you did tell her you could be responsible. You square your shoulders and tell Bronya that she has nothing to worry about. You're going to stop that Lucis, calm down all the other Luci, and protect the mother grub, all without breaking sweat and hopefully without breaking any more bones either. Whoa there, I was going to suggest that I go after it. I was going to suggest that I go after it while you stay here. You seem kind of weak and fragile, even apart from your injuries, I mean. I don't want you to get hurt worse, and I'm not sure I trust anyone other than myself to take the lead on this. That wasn't quite the reaction you were hoping for. Normally, you would be all about sitting back and letting her protect you. Because, well, protective and responsible is a good look on her. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and you don't know how else you're going to prove yourself worthy to be her friend. You do your best to project an air of competence, or at least competence. You're sure that this is no sweat for you. You take down raging bison back on your home planet all the time. You're known for it, actually. Well, if you say that this isn't your first ungulate roping gallop exhibition, I'll believe you. I'll hang back and let you give it a shot. But if it gets too overwhelming in there, I'm right here. 1. Caring for the mother grub is my responsibility as Jake Blood. 2. I'd never abandon a friend to deal with a mess on their own. If we end up being friends, that is. Oh, hell yes. Now you have reason to hope. Alright, Bison. You approach the rampaging bison with caution. Do all bison have horns like that? Maybe they do. You're no bison expert. But you're pretty sure they don't have But you're pretty sure they don't all have teeth that nasty. Bison on Earth are mostly grass, don't they? This guy doesn't look like a herbivore. At first you try and calm the Lucis down by talking to it, but your soothing words have no effect. In fact, you might have just made it even angrier by suggesting that it pause and take some deep breaths in reaction to its trampled charge. You're not even sure it can understand human speech, come to think of it. You circle around it, wishing that you had some kind of lasso or something. Maybe you can herd it away from the mother grub. You look around to see if any of the other Luci look vaguely like Earth shepherd dogs, but no dice. You hesitate too long, and the Lucis turns away, and its furious eyes falling on the mother grub. It stamps its hooves and snorts air of its nostrils and screams in a way that sounds a lot more hellish than you imagine normal bison are capable of. It's obviously about to charge, and you can only think of one thing to do. Desperation, you leap forward and tackle it football style, doing everything you can with your flimsy human body to drag it onto its side. It half works. You plow Lucis and stop it in its tracks, but it topples over onto a nest of wigglers, taking you down with it. Wigglers and young trolls go bouncing everywhere, squealing in distress, and their Luci descend upon you in a rage. Everything is chaos for a while. You're trapped beneath the bison Lucis, which is very worrying for all your body parts, and you think you might feel something important rupturing inside you. But hey, on the bright side, this crushing mass is protecting you from all the other pissed off Luci trying to attack you. Just as your whole breathing situation is starting to get dicey, you hear commotion, and what sounds possibly the trouncing of some of the smaller Luci that were trying to get you. The crowd of beasts around you scatters, and then you hear, "Oof, I'm having a hard time getting this thing off you, and he's still very angry. He keeps trying to kick me. Where's a bronze blood when you need one?" You don't know what that means, but you're very grateful that she's here to help you. You try to communicate this, but it comes out garbled from all the blood in your mouth. Maybe don't try to speak, or move, or help. You experience a sinking feeling that could be related to your diminishing odds of impressing Bronya and becoming her friend, or it could be the compression of all your internal organs. Either way, it's tough to feel optimistic right now. But before you can give into complete despair, you hear other voices. Your view is blocked by the massive bison flesh on top of you. But could it be? Are these other people here to save you? Finally! I was wondering where you all had gone off to. Let's all work together, girls. 1. You two grab his horns to keep the head still and keep it from biting anyone. 2. The rest of you come around with me to its backside so we can push it without getting kicked. You hear some grunting and muttering, and the bison starts making noises that sound more confused and less furious. Pressure and pain on your chest briefly spike in intensity as the thing's weight shifts, and then they must succeed in dragging it off you because suddenly you can breathe again. But the crisis is not over yet. While you're still testing the use of your lungs and blinking up at the cavern ceiling, you hear a new cacophony of enraged monster noises. Uh-oh, the other Luci is still agitated. Get down there and try and calm them down. Protect the mother grub. You try to lift yourself to see what's going on, but putting any weight in your arms makes you feel like maybe all your bones got turned into confetti. Painful confetti. You feel strong hands propping you up gently, and now your head is in Bronya's lap. You try to focus more on how this is a nice place for your head to be and less on the pain. This is not good. I know if my jades can reach the stampede in time, and the mother grub could get injured. Not to mention all these wigglers in danger. Oh no. You didn't think this situation could get any worse, but now you see that several of the Imperial drones that had been about to leave the cavern are turning back, drawn by all the noise and chaos. But maybe this could be a good thing. Maybe they can instill some order. Fuck! They're going to kill everyone! She scrambles to her feet, in the process letting your head whack down on the cave floor. Your vision swims, but you can still make out the drones firing indiscriminately. At the Lucii, at the grubs, and wigglers, and at the jade bloods. One laser skims the side of Mother Grub's massive midsection, and her scream is so loud that the ceiling shakes, and a few stalactites shake loose, falling on drones and Lucii and wigglers alike. It's a total catastrophe. A whole rainbow's worth of troll, wiggler, and Lucis blood is splattering the cavern walls. Bronya seems paralyzed by the chaos, looking from her jades to the Mother Grub to the paralyzed wigglers, like she's not sure who to help first. I can't believe it. This is the worst disaster we've ever had down here. And all because I thought I could sit back and let someone else be responsible for once. If I were a less secure person, I could let this moment plant a seed of self-doubt in my mind about my ability to take care of others and do my job well. Or I could chalk it up to you being really fucking stupid. You shrink under the weight of her glare. She's green on the face from how angry she is. Your swollen managed to spit out enough blood to ask a question that you already know is hopeless. Does this mean you can't be friends? Are you serious right now? I do not make friends with anyone who recklessly endangers the trolls and wigglers under my care. You killed them all. Game over. Well, so don't do that. I know that now. Skip to Bronya. Skip once more. Thanks. Be a weenie. Definitely do not like the idea of wadding into a monster fight. Not even to save the progenitor of your new friend's species. In fact, you don't like that Bronya is so focused on protecting all these helpless toddlers and distracts animals instead of taking care of you. You stammer out that you don't think you can take any kind of monster right now. In fact, you just felt another stab of pain in your ribs. You might be blacking out. Bronya's concerned face turns in your direction as you start to swim. She catches you before you hit the ground, and your heart flutters. Well, didn't mean rank like. You look up at her, see her face, and she looks like such a mom, but also such a friend. Like some sort of combination of these two concepts. Yikes, you don't look so good. I can't leave you alone, not when you're in such a bad shape. Maybe I could carry you on my back while I try and stop the rampaging Lucis? Your heart flares turn to pinpricks of alarm. That sounds dangerous, mainly for you. You try to think of what to say to dissuade her. Something other than, I think you should ignore the helpless babies and mother in danger behind you in favor of continuing to hold me in your strong arms. Before you can speak, you hear a commotion behind her. She turns to look over her shoulder, and her face sags with relief. Yes, the other Jades are here. They should know what to do. We've taken care of crises like this before. Of course, usually I'm there to help. If you crane your neck, you can just glimpse a crowd of trolls corralling the rogue Lucis away from the Mother Grub, while other trolls calm the remaining Lucii and swoop up any wigglers in harm's way. It looks like I needn't have worried. They're more than capable of stepping in while I'm otherwise occupied. I'm so proud. You take this opportunity to compliment her on what a good leader she must be, to have trained the others so well. Super smooth. She beams at you and sits you down carefully on the cavern floor, kneeling at your side. This could have gone quite badly. I'm glad I didn't make the wrong choice when I stayed to help you instead of rushing off. It goes to show, sometimes the best thing you can do for the group is take care of the weakest person in it. You kind of want to object to being called the weakest person, but you did just fake a fainting spell for attention, so maybe now isn't the best time. Instead, you thank her sincerely for sticking by your side. Two of you watch together as order is gradually restored in the chaos below, and even with your injuries, you feel close to content and quite hopeful about how this relationship is progressing. You notice that at your side, several wigglers are blindly squirming around, confused and crying. There are some young trolls here, too, looking around all lost and bereft. You're not sure if their Lucii ran off with the others that got involved with the fracas, or if these little guys are orphans now. Now that you're seeing them out in the natural cavern light, the wigglers look less like maggots to you. In fact, they're even kind of cute. You can see why Bronya would want to take care of them. One of the smallest wigglers closest to you has somehow flipped himself onto his back and seems unable to right himself, his little legs weaving in the air while he cries. Trying to be careful with your ribs, you reach out to scoop him up and cradle him to your chest, rocking him back and forth until his cries quiet down. Wow, you have a very strong nurturing instinct. I think he likes you. You almost look like you could be his Lucis, or Jadeblood. You are quite pleased that she approves of your caretaking ability. The wiggler's cough breaks through your haze of smug satisfaction. When you look down, you realize that he seems to be having some trouble breathing. You point this out to Bronya. Good observation. You really are a natural at taking care of other creatures, aren't you? Some people find that nurturing ability to be very attractive in a potential friend. But as for the wiggler, this is definitely not a good sign. I'm surprised none of these drones have noticed that he's sick. If we leave him here, he'd be cold for sure. Bronya takes the wiggler from you, and you're more than happy to hand him over considering that you have no idea what to do with a sick baby that's not your species. Also, your broken ribs make holding a baby kind of painful, and Bronya holds the wiggler carefully but with perfect ease. Just like you hope she'll cradle your new friendship in its infancy. Once Bronya feels assured that her jades have the situation at the Green Caverns under control, you take the wiggler back to the Jade-led nursery. I'm struggling. You hover around uselessly while Bronya sets up some kind of crypt filled with green slime. You're a little concerned when she takes the wiggler and submerges him under the slime, because, she's already having trouble breathing? Surely drowning in slime won't help? The super should help strengthen his bellow sacs and soothe his sorrow shoot. When he gets healthy again, I'll take him back to the cavern and set him free to make his cocoon and pupate. But he's so small, it's unlikely he'll survive the trials, or be selected by Lucis. You hate to see Bronya looking sad. You try to be sympathetic, mentioning your astute observation that this whole system, set by the wigglers and trials and the culling, seemed pretty brutal. What? Oh no, I would never suggest. This is just the way the world works. And it's fine. It's fine. The trials are how young trolls prove that they're strong enough to survive. It's only right for the weak to be culled. It's the purpose of Jadebloods to ensure the continuation of our species. Consequently, the hemospectrum. 1. We are not revolutionaries. 2. We're meant to do our jobs and keep our heads down and keep things running smoothly. 3. I would never presume to question the basic tenets of Alternian society that would bring negative attention from the Highbloods, and I just want to keep my jades safe. You look around the nursery, and all these injured or underdeveloped wigglers that Bronya was apparently supposed to die. You think it might not be true that she doesn't question the way her world works. She's looking at you like she's scared you'll call her on it and expose her altruistic tendencies. Try to solve this conversation thread. Did you say calling wigglers sounds brutal? You meant neutral. Yes, you feel 100% neutral on this topic, neither committed to the culling side of things nor eager to take up arms in revolution. Ah yes, neutral is how I feel about it as well. What a good word to describe exactly how I feel about uncontroversial political subjects. Did I mention that keeping this nursery isn't technically illegal? Because it isn't, technically. There's no reason for any of Trizia's drones to come investigating our hive, and if any drones do come knocking, we have nothing to hide. No borderline revolutionary ideas will be tolerated within these walls. Bronya laughs nervously and looks around the room, like she's making sure that any Imperial drones hiding in here heard her announcement. You feel bad for her, how nervous she is. You didn't mean to freak her out. You tell her that she sounds super convincing, and why shouldn't she? Because she's clearly telling the truth. If you were an Imperial drone, you would definitely be satisfied right now with her clearly law-abiding and neutral ways. Thank you. That means a lot. You cast about for something to change the subject, and mention that your ribs are feeling a bit better. Bronya's face brightens, and she lifts up your arm gently so she can touch the injured part of your torso, examining it in her typically responsible and authoritative way. Shiver and wonder if her touch has healing properties. I'm glad to hear that. After all, I don't like it when my friends suffer. Heart leaps. You look up, scarcely allowing yourself to hope. Could it be? Or was she just making a general statement? If you're not in any more pain, hopefully that means your injuries will heal soon. I will take care of you until then, my friend. You are overcome. Your eyes fill with tears. Bronya smiles at you and squeezes your hand. Victory! Self-care comes first. Yay! Alright, and that's it for volume 3 of Hiveswap Friendsim Rerun. If you liked the video, like it. If you want to see more of my content, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos of reruns, or at least stay tuned for my recording of Friendsim 2. That'll be all from me today. I already said that. Have a good day and do what you do best. See ya!